If you have been following the medical headlines around the newest generation of powerful weight loss protocols, a major controversy emerging from the most recent clinical data releases is revealing something that should fundamentally change how anyone approaching aggressive weight loss thinks about their cellular health. The weight is coming off. The numbers on the scale are moving in the right direction. But the composition of what is being lost is triggering alarm bells among metabolic researchers, and the biological mechanism driving it affects every person pursuing rapid weight reduction regardless of what protocol they are using. The controversy centers on sarcopenic risk, the clinical term for the disproportionate loss of lean skeletal muscle mass that occurs when weight loss happens faster than the body's cellular infrastructure can manage cleanly. In the most recently released 2026 clinical data tracking the newest generation of triple agonist weight loss protocols, researchers confirmed what metabolic scientists had theorized for years, but never had the large-scale data to prove definitively. When the body is forced to drop weight at extreme rates, the cellular mechanisms determining whether it burns fat or catabolizes muscle come under acute stress. And in a significant proportion of participants, particularly those over 40 whose muscle mitochondria are already operating below peak capacity, the stress resolves in the worst possible direction. Here is the precise biological mechanism that explains why this happens. Your skeletal muscle tissue is metabolically expensive to maintain. It requires continuous energy, ATP, to sustain its structural integrity, maintain its protein architecture, and resist the catabolic signals that a severe caloric deficit generates. The mitochondria inside your muscle cells are responsible for producing that ATP. When the metabolic demand on muscle tissue increases, as it does during aggressive weight loss when the body's overall energy expenditure rises and the body is simultaneously receiving less incoming fuel, the mitochondria inside muscle cells must dramatically increase their output to meet that demand. In young adults with high mitochondrial density and efficiency, this increased demand is manageable. The muscle cells ramp up ATP production. The structural integrity of the lean mass is maintained. And the body preferentially burns the visceral and subcutaneous fat stores it is being biochemically instructed to mobilize. The weight comes off from the right places. In adults over 40, and particularly in those whose mitochondria have been depleted through years of metabolic stress, chronic inflammation, poor sleep, and the progressive age-related mitochondrial decline that reduces both the number and efficiency of muscle cell mitochondria, the scenario is fundamentally different. When the metabolic demand of aggressive weight loss hits muscle cells whose mitochondria are already operating near their maximum output capacity, those cells enter an energy crisis. They cannot increase ATP production fast enough to sustain both their structural maintenance and the additional metabolic load. The shortfall triggers a catabolic signal. The body reads the muscle cell's energy deficit as a resource that can be mobilized. Amino acids from muscle protein get broken down and converted into glucose to fuel the energy demands the mitochondria cannot meet. Lean muscle mass disappears. Not as a side effect of the weight loss, as the body's cellular energy solution to a power grid crisis. The consequences compound rapidly. Muscle tissue is the primary metabolic organ for glucose clearance, the tissue most responsible for pulling blood sugar out of circulation and converting it into stored energy or burning it for ATP. When lean muscle mass declines, the body's glucose clearance capacity drops. Insulin sensitivity worsens. The resting metabolic rate, the baseline caloric expenditure that muscle mass drives, crashes. And the weight that was lost so aggressively becomes extraordinarily difficult to maintain because the metabolic infrastructure required to sustain a lower body weight has been degraded in the process. The visible result that clinical researchers are documenting, and that's driving the controversy in wellness circles, is the combination of weight loss and physical deterioration that occurs when the body takes mass from the wrong tissues. The scale drops, but the mirror tells a different story. Strength declines. Tissue loses its tone. The face hollows and ages. And the metabolic rate reset that aggressive weight loss was supposed to deliver turns into a metabolic rate crash that makes future weight management harder than it was before the protocol began. The cellular solution requires addressing the muscle mitochondria before or simultaneously with any protocol that creates aggressive metabolic demand. Muscle cells need the mitochondrial density and efficiency to sustain their structural integrity under the energy pressure of rapid weight loss, not just survive it. CoQ10 fuels the electron transport chain inside skeletal muscle mitochondria, maintaining the ATP production efficiency that allows muscle cells to sustain their structural proteins under metabolic pressure without triggering the catabolic breakdown that muscle catabolism represents. When CoQ10 availability is sufficient inside muscle cell mitochondria, those cells can maintain their energy balance even under the increased demand of aggressive weight loss, protecting lean mass while the body mobilizes fat stores. PQQ triggers mitochondrial biogenesis inside skeletal muscle tissue, growing new high-density mitochondria that expand the muscle cell's total ATP production capacity. More mitochondria in muscle cells means more energy available to sustain muscle structural integrity under demand. It means the cell can preferentially burn fatty acids for fuel while protecting its own protein architecture. And it means the visceral fat that the weight loss protocol is targeting actually gets burned, rather than the lean muscle that the failing power grid forced the body to catabolize instead. Mitolyn combines CoQ10 and PQQ in one formula built around this muscle mitochondrial protection principle. Protect the lean mass, power the cellular grid, and ensure that every pound lost comes from the right place. I want to be fully transparent with you. The link in my description is an affiliate link. I might earn a small commission at no extra cost to you. I only share what I genuinely think is helpful. Protect your muscle and burn the fat. Check the link in my description for the 2026 Mitolyn Muscle Shield Protocol. And if you want cutting-edge cellular health content every single day, hit subscribe. We post every morning. This video is for educational purposes only and is not intended as medical advice. Always consult a qualified healthcare professional before making changes to your diet or lifestyle, especially if you are currently using any pharmaceutical weight loss protocol.